I guess we are good to talk about the custom keywords now. So what we can do is, of course, normally in our real life projects, whenever we are implementing test cases, we are having too many repeated steps, right? Duplicated steps. So what we are doing is, of course, we are not duplicating in the test level, but we are just creating some util files, or basically it is just like a practical keyword driven approach. So let's try to do something like moving these steps into a keyword. For example, what we are doing here is we are just doing an API query and we are trying to log the response into console. So if I create a keyword, so for that I will open another section. Here we already see the settings, test cases, variables, and one more section we can introduce here is the keywords, right? So the first keyword that I will introduce here will be like, for example, perform an API query. This is my keyword. And what it will do is it will just perform this query. And it will return the response. But of course, each time when I call this keyword, maybe I will call another URL, right? Or another endpoint. So I want to have this as a parameter. So let's have one keyword here, one parameter here. Let's make this URL or endpoint parametrical. So what I will do is introduce that as an argument. Let's say this is the URL. Normally it was this, right? Yes. So I will pass this as a parameter when calling this keyword, and I will just pass this to the built-in keyword coming from request library, and I want to return this response. Return response. Very cool. So let's call this keyword here instead of doing the implementation. Just call it. And we can see already the documentation here. It's expecting one argument, right? Because we expect URL to be passed from the keyword call. In this case, it was this value. And normally it returns a value, so I can capture the return value. Let's say this is my response. And this time I can print the response to console. Let's execute from here quickly. I can still see the response. Cool. So this is already one way to introduce keywords, but furthermore, what I can do is I can move this under a util file, right? Because maybe I can use this API query in some other tests or in even other suites. So I will try to make a folder here. Utils. Oops, it's not a folder. Let's make it here. And Let's create a file here. This is my API utils. And let's move it under API utils.robots. Cool. Now, this is not found, right? There is no such a keyword, but I have to import that. So again, just like using a library, now I'm using my file, which will be a resource this time. Where is it? It is under utils, API utils.robots. Now I can see that it is recognized and the expected arguments are there, return value is there. So let's again quickly see if everything is still working. Yes, the test passed.